It is Tuesday, and that means I'm going to talk to you about new players for the Gator football program. This week, we're going to talk about the wide receiver room. Welcome to Gators Daily, presented by FanArch. My name is John Ingham, and I'm here to give a fan's opinion on Gators football every day. Last week, we talked about Aaron Philo, what it meant for him coming in, why it was so important for Faulkner to have someone who knows his system. So as we transition to a new offense, to a new identity, he has someone that knows it. And if he doesn't start, someone that can help Tramel Jones figure it out. Maybe he doesn't want to do that. Maybe he's too competitive, whatever. Check out last week's video. I talked about Aaron Philo, got into it. Not the QB battle, only a little bit, but Aaron Philo specifically and why that's important. This week, I want to talk about the receivers. Two specifically that are coming in. First, Eric Singleton Jr., phenomenal get. Phenomenal grab by our recruiting staff. A big transfer. We have Dallas Wilson. We have VB3. We'll talk about them in a second. But Singleton was one of the best wide receivers in the transfer portal. 5'10" out of Georgia, another Georgia guy, only a 3-star. So he has developed, not a high-ranking guy coming out of high school, but he went to Georgia Tech. And he went to Georgia Tech, and then he went to Auburn, and now he's at Florida. He's climbing. He's going up the ranks every time. Hopefully, we can beat Auburn and prove that we're still above them. But freshman All-American at Georgia Tech. ACC Offensive Rookie of the Year runner-up. 6 freshman touchdowns were one shy of the Georgia Tech record, held by Calvin Johnson. That's a big receiver name. He had 100 catches, 1,500 yards, 9 touchdowns as a Yellow Jacket. That was in 2 years. Last year, he led Auburn in catches, 58 with 530 yards and 3 touchdowns in a very bad offense. Their coach got fired. They have a new coach. He was the number 1 wide receiver and number 5 overall player in last year's transfer portal heading to Auburn. He was not ranked as high this year, but the guy's got some talent. The guy's got some excitement. He was going to go to the NFL. He declared for the draft, went to the Senior Bowl, and then pulled out so he could come back. Faulkner's first year as an offensive coordinator was his first year in the offense at Georgia Tech. So not only did Faulkner coach him and know how to recruit him, but Faulkner helped him thrive. Faulkner empowered him to become a transfer wide receiver that went from Georgia Tech to an SEC school. And now Georgia Tech isn't what they used to be. They don't have the Navy offense anymore. They're not running the ball all the time. They are a legit ACC school. They compete with Georgia. I love that. In fact, I have a soft spot for Georgia Tech because if they're a rival of Georgia, an enemy of my enemy is my friend, all that jazz. He came from them. Faulkner used him in the offense, and he has expressed that he appreciates that Faulkner's there. He gets it. It's a match made. And then another funny coincidence is that his first ever college football offer was from none other than John Sumrall at Troy. So John Sumrall knew who he was, thought he could go get him. He ended up going to Georgia Tech. He ended up doing really well, transferred to Auburn, didn't have a great year last year because Auburn was really bad, and is now coming in, has exploded in the spring. People think he's great. He's impressed. We're really excited about Singleton, and he was the guy. He was the guy that we wanted to come in. He was the main receiver that we got. And a bunch of Georgia Tech guys that he played with. Philo, Stockton, Harrison Moore, Faulkner, all these guys that came over from Georgia Tech. McKnight was his position coach. Marcus Davis coached him at Auburn. So 3 coaches he's played with. 3 coaches he's had are all at Florida. He comes back. So the coaches know him. He knows the coaches. He trusts the coaches. Sumrall even bought in and recruited him. So this guy feels loved. This guy is beloved by the staff, known by the staff, is going to be used, is going to be empowered. And this is his last year. He's not coming back again. Micah Mays may come back. Dallas Wilson and Vernell Brown may come back. This guy's not coming back. He is a senior. He came back to improve his draft stock. So he wants to go big. He's going to be working hard. He's going to be making plays. And he has the capability of popping the top off the defense, and he has the capability of playing in some space in the middle of the field, which we'll get to in a little bit. But very excited. And these are his words. I've got one quote I want to read to you. Me and Buster, we have a very tight connection. I most definitely think he knows how to use me. So this is a guy coming back saying, hey, I like this offensive coordinator. He's proven that he knows how to use me. I'm going to go back and trust him and see what he's got to offer. So he turned down the NFL. He closed his NFL prospect to come back, play for this offense, play for this coach. So it's not just a guy that's transferring. It's a guy that came back and thought this was a better opportunity for him for his long-term career. I'm sure he's making money. In fact, he's probably making more money at Florida than he would make in the NFL as an undrafted guy or a late-round pick, maybe on a practice squad. He also is going to be in the national spotlight. People are going to pay attention to Florida. It's Summerall's first year. We're going to win a few more games than we're supposed to. We're going to get some attention. So Singleton can come back. He can catch for 800 yards. He can get a bunch of touchdowns. And the offensive line's got to be good. Ball's got to be able to run the ball. But with all these receivers coming back, or with all these receivers coming in, we might have the best wide receiver room in the SEC. It's not a joke with Singleton. Another guy, another receiver that came in, Micah Mays Jr., he's 6'2". He's a bigger guy. From Florida, the Benjamin School in Florida, we get quite a few recruits from him. 4-star U.S. Army All-American. He was a higher recruit than Singleton out of high school. Went to Wake Forest, played for 2 years. He's got 2 years left. I think he redshirted 1 year as well. So he could leave after this year, but probably got 2 years left. Does not have amazing stats, but his athleticism is there. There is excitement. Won Florida the 1A state gold in both the 400 meters and the triple jump. So not just a 400-meter triple jump athlete, but a state champion, even though it's 1A. Third in the high jump, ran in the 4x4 that won. So track speed in a 6'2" frame. So this guy's going to be going long. This guy's an outside receiver mainly. Going to be playing most of his snaps. He played 74% of his snaps outside at Wake. And the reason that we're so excited about him is because of the spring game. I didn't hear about him until the spring. I heard about him, but I wasn't giving him much attention until the spring game. Then he had an amazing spring game. Absolutely lit it up. Maybe the defense was focused on the other three, but now I hope that other teams make that mistake as well. Very fast, very athletic, very tall, mainly plays outside. And the reason that's going to be important is because he's going to be breaking it on the outside, forcing safeties to help. If he can go long for a lot of his routes, go deep for a lot of his routes, it's going to open up space in the middle of the field. So I'm excited. Supposedly we called him the day the portal opened, January 2nd. The Gators were his first visit. He announced it right away. His high school coach is a former Florida Gator quarterback, Eric Kresser. Not a big one, but a former Gator quarterback nonetheless. And flashed in spring. So with the combo of Singleton and Mays coming in, that's a great start for a wide receiver room on its own. 4-star kid from Palm Beach, left the state, came back, says he's home. Very important. Very excited about that. However, they were added to a room that already had Vernell Brown and Dallas Wilson. Dallas Wilson was hurt the majority of the season. Dallas Wilson did not play much. Flashed in that Texas game, played amazing. And then Vernell Brown led the team in receiving as a freshman. Our offense was horrible last year. Our team was horrible last year. But he still managed 500 yards a game. 500 yards for the season, not a game. 50 yards a game. A little less than 50 yards a game. But we've got some receivers there. We've got Bailey Stockton, a Georgia Tech transfer who knows the offense, knows the routes, can help these guys. Singleton knows the offense as well, but help these guys with the route trees, the route combinations, the route concepts. And it's excited. Singleton and Mays were both big-time transfer gets. Singleton probably could have gone anywhere. Mays wanted to come home. Maybe he wasn't as high recruited as Singleton, but could have gone to different places. Instead, they chose to come to Florida, where VB3 and Dallas Wilson already are. So they choose to compete, to challenge the receivers that are already there. They have confidence. They have competitive characteristics where they believe in themselves and they're willing to fight for their time. They're willing to fight for their spots. And in the spring game, you got a bunch of receivers playing because there's two sides of the ball, whatever it was. However, without that, we're going to be doing a lot of 4 wide receiver sets. Can we see all 4 of these guys on the field at the same time? Who knows where the ball is going to go? You've got Micah Mays running deep on the outside or some of the other guys running deep on the outside. Is that going to create some room for them to cross in the middle? That's a big deal. We have a deep, stacked wide receiver room. Only one of them is guaranteed to leave next year, so we could have a few of them come back. But they picked a stacked room, and that goes to Sumrall's evaluation of personality, Sumrall's evaluation of character, Sumrall's evaluation of competitiveness, because that's what he wants. He wants to choose people and then teach them how to play his style of football. But the most important thing about the people he's recruiting is that the people they are, the person they are, the competitive nature they have, the ability to fight, the ability to work hard, the ability to want more, not to shy down from other receivers that are going to take space from them. None of these receivers are going to have a massive year. None of these receivers are going to have 1,400 yards. None of these receivers are going to win the Heisman. We're going to have a great receiving crew, and we're going to be able to get the ball to all of them. I want all of them to have 2-3 touches a game, 4-5 touches a game. Can we get the ball into their hands? And when one guy's covered, double covered, that's going to leave the other guys open. So it's really nice. When the good players across the nation choose the hard room, the hard place to get time over the easy one, that tells you what kind of character they have, and that tells you what type of locker room and what type of team personality Sumrall is building. Talent can fill a roster, talent can win games, but competitors and character, that's what builds culture. And that's the most important thing to Sumrall, is building culture. He's talked about it a lot. That competitive culture, those competitive characteristics. And that's what these two wide receivers represent, which is the reason I want to point them out today early on. Philo obviously is the most important transfer we're getting, but the two receivers and the competitive nature in which they transferred in with, they have to compete with two of the best receivers, two of the most highly recruited receivers Florida's ever had. I mean, Dallas Wilson famously was committed to Oregon and transferred swapped last minute. He came to Florida. His family's in Florida, so we don't think he's going anywhere. Vernell Brown, we don't think he's going anywhere as well. These guys came into that room and said, I want to compete. I want to be a part of that. I want to see what I have to offer. I want to challenge myself. And I mentioned it a little bit. These guys going up, these guys taking the deep ball, ability to go long, ability to break the defense wide open, gives space right in the middle of the field. So it's not just that they're more weapons. They are both outside field stretching threats, which VB3 and Wilson can do as well. But now we have guys that whoever's lined up on the outside, the threat to break open the defense, the threat to go deep is there. And Philo and Tramel Jones can both throw the deep ball, probably not as well as, say, Anthony Richardson or Rex Grossman threw a beautiful post ball. But if we can get attention over the top of the defense, we're going to have a lot of room. And that's going to create room for these guys to run under the middle. Micah Mays, all of them, Singleton, Wilson, VB3, they're all tight ends. They're all going to be able to find the middle of the field because we have that deep threat, because we have those guys going over the top of the defense. Also, what about ball? We have to be able to run the ball. And offensive line's a big part of that, but if we can have four wide receiver sets and the threat going over the top, that means you're likely occupying 6 defenders. You are likely occupying 4 defenders to cover the receivers and 2 to cover over the top, which means you only have 5 defenders in the middle of the field where Ball is going to be getting the ball. Now, if they crowd the box, can we throw quick screen passes? Can we take advantage of that? Ideally, we have the field stretched and we can go to what we're best at, which is running the ball with Ball. Over the middle, dink and dunks, a little more easy to complete than the long balls. I want us to go deep. I want that to be a part of our offense, but with these receivers, and if the quarterback can figure it out just a little bit, whichever one starts, these receivers are going to have that over-the-top threat, and that's going to open up a lot of the middle of the field. Huge deal. Singleton and Mays, they come in, they're trying to help themselves, they're trying to further their career, but that's not all they do. They're making Vernell Brown more dangerous, they're making Dallas Wilson more dangerous, and they're making Jaden Ball more dangerous. They're making Jaden Ball's life easier. So that's what a real wide receiver room does. Takes pressure off the offense. Can we get some quick throws to them, quick screen passes to them? If we can, guess how long the offensive line has to block? Quarter of a second? I mean, Philo or Tramel Jones isn't getting sacked if they hike, boom, toss it out wide. They're not getting sacked like that. That's going to take pressure off the offensive line. It's going to take pressure off the quarterback, pressure off the running game. Huge deal. If we just had VB3 and Dallas Wilson coming in, I'd be pretty excited. But Faulkner said no. Sumrall said no. Let's get 2 more guys, especially Singleton, who we know, which we wanted Cam Coleman from Auburn, but we'll take Singleton as well. They got cleared out. Imagine we could have had Wilson and VB3 leave, but we have a new coach, new philosophy, and they stayed. And they came back and wanted to be a part of this room. And, Singleton and Mays are the new guys, but Summerall gave everybody an opportunity to leave. Lagway certainly took it. So they could have left as well. They could have said, no, I want to go back the other way. I want to go to Auburn or Georgia Tech or Wake Forest, and I want to be the star of that offense. And there's plenty of great quarterbacks across the nation, even playing at small schools, that would love to have a number one that are any of the four guys we have as their number one. And we've got all four of them. So the wide receiver room is crucial to help the development of the quarterback, to open up space for the other wide receivers underneath, and to open up room for the run. If we can take pressure off the offensive line, it's going to be a big impact. If the offensive line is trash, we're not going to win many games anyway. But hopefully we can alleviate some of that by creating a little bit more opportunity deep and some quick hitter balls, some screen passes, things like that to get the ball into the hands of these weapons. So we have two young receivers that have worn the Gator jersey that have had some success as much as you can under Napier. And you've got two guys coming in that want to compete, want to challenge, want to be a part of that. I'm curious to see who becomes the quarterback's favorite. Who are the quarterbacks leaning on? Who are the quarterbacks excited about? But which of these receivers is going to be the best? Who do you think? Who are you most excited about? I'm most excited about Dallas Wilson. He just was so explosive last year. And if you've heard my opinion about the QB battle, you know that I prefer a Gator that's already played in a Gator jersey. I love that about Dallas Wilson. He hasn't played much. They're being safe with him this spring. He's going to be ready to go in the fall, but he was explosive as a receiver when he was on the field. Changed our offense completely. So that's who I'm most excited about. Tell me who you're most excited about. Tell me if there's a receiver I missed. Comment, like, subscribe. I'd appreciate all of it. But more than that, I appreciate y'all. I appreciate y'all being here as a community of Florida Gator football fans. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Gators.